opportunity to honor Emma Camden, a senior from Una Vista, for the time and dedication she has given to the women's basketball program over the years. Escorted by her father Mike, mother Crystal, her sisters Carly and Presley, and her brother Parker, Emma joined the team in 2019 and has since played in 90 games, logging over 1,800 minutes on the court. During her time on the court, Emma has gone to record 476 points, 328 rebounds, 227 assists, 109 steals, and 17 blocks. Emma will be graduating this spring with a degree in Human Development and Family Studies. And we would like to once again thank Emma for her efforts on the court and wish her the best of luck in the future after graduating. Thank you to all these seniors.
I'm going to use the bathroom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Night Arena at Southern Virginia University for today's women's basketball game featuring the North Carolina Wesleyan University Battling Bishops and your Southern Virginia University Knights. President Corbin and the Southern Virginia University staff, thank you for your support of student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. The NCAA and USA South Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments, intimidating actions directed at coaches, players, officials, or any other team representatives will not be tolerated in our grounds for removal. Also, the consumption of possession of alcoholic beverages and tobacco use is strictly prohibited. Please stay away from the playing area and team bench areas. Thank you, and please enjoy this afternoon's contest. In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we'll begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by our wonderful and esteemed athletic director, Deidre Dryden.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to be here this day to see this beautiful game of basketball with these young women that have worked so hard to prepare for this event. We pray that blessings to be upon them as they play, that they could do so to the very best of their ability. We are particularly grateful for our seniors this day and pray that blessings to be upon them as they move forward in their lives. We pray that blessings to be upon all those here, that as they travel home safely, that they will be able to travel home safely. We thank you for our Savior, Jesus Christ, for the chance to become better people each and every day. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now, if you will all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our nation's national anthem. Thank you. And now for your starting lineups. Starting this afternoon for the Battling Bishops. At forward, senior number 3, Janae Goddard. At guard, senior number 4, Nadia Simmons. At guard, senior number 14, Lorena Harris. At guard, senior number 21, Deanna Williams. And at forward, senior number 25, K-Dot Harrison. The Battling Bishops are coached by Artina J. Schrader and assisted by Russell Rouse. And now, starting for your night! At guard, a sophomore from Cary, North Carolina, number 1, Maria Smith! At guard, a sophomore from Rocky Ford, Colorado, number 11, Abby Smith! At center, a sophomore from Santa Clarita, California, number 30, Ruth Pickler! At forward, a sophomore from Knightdale, North Carolina, number 32, you, and good luck to both sides.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be watching the SVU Knights take on the NC Wesleyan Bishops. I am Rock Giles here with my friend and colleague Tyler Wright. This should be a pretty good game. They've played each other over the last 2 years a couple times, and they've both gone 1-1 here in Buena Vista, Virginia. Both these teams seem to be pretty evenly matched up. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, expecting a good game. Both these teams top 3 in the conference in the standings right now. SVU will score the first basket here. You know, so far, just in the opening minutes, it's been back and forth. SVU, of course, is scoring this first basket here to open it up 2-0. But like I said, it'll be a good game. Both these teams at the top of the conference.
I absolutely agree with you, Tyler. Number 4, Nadia Simmons is going to drive in and get the ball taken away. And a good swat there. You know, both these teams have pretty solid defense. And that'll be a foul.
Foul call on Ruth Kempler.
On number 30, Ruth Kempler. But both these teams have really good defensive statistics, each averaging about 9 steals per game, 9 or 10 steals per game. You know, they got a few blocks per game under their belt. SVU is actually a little bit higher with 4 blocks per game. And NC Wesleyan has about 2.5. But overall, they're both pretty low-scoring, you know, games when it comes to their opponents. I think SVU actually averages 53 points against them, while NC Wesleyan averages 67 points against them per game.
Yeah, both these teams more focuses on defense, but you know, we've seen some great effort here tonight on the offense so far.
And Kempler's going to go up with that, and it's going to be no good. Number 3, Janae Goddard is going to try to drive in, and I believe she's going to travel. SVU Knights ball. Savoon's going to take it up the court. Number 10, Emma Camden is going to try to put a floater in, and it bounces right out. Wesleyan with the ball, takes a 3, no good. And that's going to be an over-the-back foul on number 4, Nadia Simmons. You know, when you're going for a rebound like that, it's tough not to foul.
Yeah.
You know, basketball is such a physical game, and I think a lot of people misinterpret that, but there are going to be a few fouls. There's going to be a lot of physicality, especially with how similar these teams work in terms of skill. They're just very similar teams. You know, the stats are right there. I think both teams are going to get pretty physical today. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, you know, like we said, you know, both these teams more defensive-minded. You know, like I said, it's hard to kind of avoid some of those contact fouls, but you know, there's going to be a lot of contested rebounds, a lot of contact in the paint probably between these two teams.
Absolutely. Abby Snyder's going to drive up, pass it out to Savoon. Pass it up to Camden for the 3. No good, but it's rebounded by Kempler. Ball gets passed into Kempler. SVU just trying to find an open shot. That's going to be a jump ball. Some really tough defense right here from NC Wesleyan. You know, SVU's trying really hard to get a shot off, and it's just pretty tough.
Checking in for the Knights.
And Kempler's going to be subbed out with Weiland coming in. Deanna Adams with the ball, number 21. And there's going to be a foul called on number 21, Deanna Adams.
Foul call on Deanna Adams, the first.
Camden's going to take the ball up for SVU. Inside pass. That was a fantastic play. A lot of coordination, good communication from SVU. You know, if they keep playing like that, we're going to see some points up there. You know, they're actually a very good offensive team. In the last 2 wins that they've had, they scored in the 90s, which is absolutely ridiculous for women's basketball. Usually it gets up to 60s, 70s, but 90s consistently it's pretty intense. That's hard to do.
Yeah, SVU's been playing great defense so far this season, you know, especially, you know, within the three-point boundary, playing hard in the paint. It's hard for teams to rebound and, you know, score inside the paint against SVU.
Weiland with the ball, passes it to Abby Snyder.
Shot clock winding down.
Savoon drives in, and that'll be good. 2 points for Savoon. Number 21, Deanna Adams is taking it up.
Yeah, Savoon, you know, has kind of become like the de facto point guard on this team. You know, she's kind of been a threat around the perimeter, shooting 36 three-pointers throughout the season, but, you know, a threat inside the paint, too, as we just saw.
Absolutely. NC Wesleyan's going to get a backcourt violation called. SVU with the ball now.
Williams checking in for the Bishops.
We're going to give it directly to Snyder. She's going to drive in, pass it out. Savoon's going to save it and drive in again. And she passes it to Asia Foster, who lays it up. See, again, we just saw that earlier. You know, when you're able to communicate with your teammates right there and, you know, drive in, that's what SVU seems to do the most. You know, drive in, draw on the defenders, and then pass it out for a wide open shot. And it's pretty effective when they can get it going.
Savoon tips the ball out of bounds, so NC Wesleyan will get the chance to throw it back in bounds from the other side of the court. I know, like you're saying, you know, in a defensive game like this, like you're talking about, you know, communication within the paint is going to be particularly, you know, make or break in this game. So SVU communicating, you know, when they're kind of in that crowded space is going to be important for them to put points on the board. As you see here today, you know, Knights leading here at the first time out, 8-2.
4.5 minutes left in the first quarter of play. The score is 2-8, like Tyler was saying. Some pretty strong offense, some pretty strong defense. You know, it's gonna even out.
You know, just talk about, you know, kind of the importance of this game in particular. You know, we talked about the standings earlier. SVU currently right now sits at number 1 in the conference, 15-1. NC Wesleyan number 3 at 12-3 in conference record. Methodist College sits between them at the number 2 spot, 14-1. So right now SVU has a game on them, but they also lost them 2 games ago. So, you know, it's important to pick up this conference win here today against a pretty good NC Wesleyan team.
Absolutely. This is definitely a pretty well-defining game, I think. You know, there's a lot of implications here. That's going to go over the backboard. SVU's ball. Savoon's going to take it up. She gives it off to Camden.
Offensive foul called on Foster. Her first.
That's going to be an offensive foul called on Asia Foster.
Asia Foster currently leads North Carolina Wesleyan with 244 points on the season so far.
And that shot's going to be no good.
They're going to say the shot clock ran out there. A great effort by NC Wesleyan to get a couple rebounds and get a few second chances at that basket again.
Natalie Newton checking in for the Knights.
You know, I think SVU's playing really good defense, and that's forcing NC Wesleyan to try to take, you know, not great shots, which can be pretty tough to start scoring in that kind of situation. Savoon with the ball. Drives in, lays it up, but that'll be no good. Deanna Adams with the ball. Starts to drive in, passes it back out. That's going to be another over-the-back violation from NC Wesleyan.
Checking in for the Bishops.
The Knights are going to take it up. And Kemper is going to try to drive into the baseline. She's going to get tripped up. Going to call a defensive foul.
Checking in for the Bishops.
Number 15, Alexandria Belton is going to come in. Wyland with the shot, and that's going to be no good. It's rebounded by NC Wesleyan. Number 4, Nadia Simmons is driving in. They're going to keep driving in. Some good defense. That shot's going to be off. Abby Snyder drives in with the ball. It's going to go up, and they're going to call a foul. That foul is going to be called on number 2, Harmony Martin.
Snyder to the line for the Knights. Shooting 2.
Abigail Snyder with the free throw.
Timeout.
But a timeout is called by NC Wesleyan.
You know, I thought we'd be seeing a lot more physicality from both sides. It seems to be kind of one-sided. You know, NC Wesleyan's getting a lot of fouls called on them. I think we've seen a couple, you know, over the backs, you know, a few shooting fouls. I think SVU only has, like, an offensive foul or 2.
Yeah, and you kind of talked about this before. You know, SVU is really good at, defending, inside the perimeter. And so, as time runs out, NC Wesleyan and all the rest of the opponents that SVU has played so far this season, they make shots that they don't really want to take. And, they commit a lot of things where, they're, as time runs out, they get a little desperate. And, we've seen that here today, them try to make rash decisions as the time runs out. And more times than not, it doesn't bode well.
Absolutely.
So Snyder here with a free throw attempt.
That'll be good. I believe that'll be Snyder's first points of the game. And that second one is good as well. Nadia Simmons, number 4, taking it up the court. Some fancy dribbling work over here now from NC Wesleyan. She's going to get double teamed, and they're going to call a foul on number 30, Kempler.
Foul call on Kempler, her second. Foster checking in for the Knights. Williams to the line for the Bishops, shooting 2.
And that'll be no good. NC Wesleyan is now 2 for 3 for free throws. You know, both teams' free throw shooting percentages are in the 60s. I believe SVU's is about 65%, and NC Wesleyan's is about 62% or 63. So they're really about even in terms of free throws.
Both teams shooting for 100% so far today, so looking good there.
Wesleyan with the ball. Addison Newman, number 4, is going to try to find an open spot. Wesleyan's going to take the shot. And that's going to get knocked out of bounds. It's going to be called NC Wesleyan's ball. Minute and a half left in this first quarter of play. The 23, Corinthian Williams with the ball. And a floater, no good. Rebounded by number 2, Presley Heggie. Wesleyan's going to drive in. She'll step back and take the 3. That'll be no good. A lot of back and forth recently. That'll be up, no good. But they're going to get the offensive rebound. Pass it back to number 4, Nadia Simmons. She's going to drive in and get fouled. They're going to call that foul on number 25, Allie Weiland. A little bit of a miscommunication there on SVU's side. That's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be NC Wesleyan's ball right next to SVU's basket. Passes to number 10, Dorinda Jordan, who will hit the jump shot. 10 seconds left. It's up. No good, just short. But SVU is going to get that rebound. Pass it to Weiland. She takes a deep 3. That's going to be short as well. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. Very low scoring, 10-5 with SVU in the lead. You know, I think there's a lot of action going on, but not very many results. Why do you think that is, Tyler?
You know, looking at the statistics, NC Wesleyan, they just made their last field goal, but so they're 1 for 12 in field goals today. SVU has just been really good at shutting them down defensively, and we talked about this. They just have to take shots they don't want to take because of the pressure and the time winding down. But this is just a struggle of 2 really good defenses. We've talked about it, low scoring. These teams, they're taking those opportunities to shoot at many times where they don't want to because the defense is just really good in pressuring them.
Absolutely. an interesting statistic that we've seen already is that 8 of the 10 points that SVU has comes from inside of the paint, right? So that's kind of their go-to, right? So they'll drive in and pass it to somebody else in the paint that's wide open, and that'll usually work for them. And then the other 2 points that they have are from free throws from driving into the paint. So that is SVU's bread and butter. It seems to work out, and this tends to happen in most of their games where it's low scoring in the first quarter. The second quarter jumps way up. The same with the third and the fourth as well. So they tend to do better later in the game. They almost treat the first quarter like a warm-up is kind of what it seems like. NC Wesleyan's going to take the ball. And that's going to be a hard foul.
Foul's called on Abby Snyder.
Hard foul from Abby Snyder, but they're going to keep it on the ground. Number 4, Nadia Simmons is going to make that shot. NC Wesleyan now at 7 points.
Nadia Simmons is another player for the Bishops you got to look out for. She came to this game with 236 points on the season so far.
Asia Foster with a good layup right there. Yeah, absolutely. Nadia Simmons is definitely a versatile player. She averages 5 rebounds per game, 11 points per game, and almost 2 steals per game. Just very diverse on the court. She can do a lot of different things. Very dangerous.
Great block by Asia Foster there, but number 14, Arena Harris, is going to put that in for 3.
NC Wesleyan starting to lock in a little bit in terms of offensive playing. Number 10, Camden's going to have the ball. She passes it to Savoon, who's wide open for a 3, and that'll be good. Savoon actually has one of the highest shooting percentages from the three-point line for SVU at about 36%. You can always trust her to make that shot. And that's going to be foul on number 11, Abby Snyder. But they're going to keep it on the ground once again.
Newman checking in for the Knights.
You know, talking about Savoon's three-point shooting. She comes into this game with 36 makes on the season out of 101 attempts, so she shoots the ball a lot from the 3.
Absolutely. Number 4, Addison Newman with the ball. She's going to give it back to Camden, who then gives it off to Savoon. She's going to drive in. They're going to call a foul on number 14, Arena Harris. But they're not going to count the basket. They're going to keep it on the ground once again. Number 10, Camden's going to pass it up. Kempler with the ball. Drives in, plays in the paint, and that's going to take a bad bounce. Ball stolen by Kempler. And they're going to call a backcourt violation. A lot of the fans disagreeing with that call. I honestly did not have a fantastic view. I can't say anything about that. Shot's going to go up. It's going to bounce up, but NC Wesleyan's going to get the rebound. Number 21, Deanna Adams, is going to make that jumper.
It looks like NC Wesleyan changed up their approach. They took a lot of threes early in the game. Now they're trying to shoot those mid-range jumpers, starting to make them in.
Absolutely, yeah. They're definitely getting more consistent with those jump shots. They're able to rebound the ball a lot more as well. Savoon's going to pass it off to Camden. She's going to lay it up for another 2 points. You know, a lot of players on the SVU squad, you know, are very versatile, and they can score whenever they want. You know, nobody on the team is like categorized into the scoring position. Everybody averages about 9, 8 points, 7 points. You know, all very high, but not 20 points.
Yeah. SVU got a very balanced team. You know, if you look at all the games throughout the season, like every single game, a different person leads the scoring. So very balanced.
Camden's going to score that one once again. You know, we'll see similar statistics with steals, blocks, assists, rebounds. They all kind of get around, and that's why they're so fun to watch, I think, in my opinion. Number 25, K-Dot with the ball. She's going to take a jumper from the free throw line, and she's going to hit that. K-Dot is one of NC Wesleyan's playmakers. You know, she shoots an astounding 57% field goal percentage, which is incredibly high. She averages almost 10 rebounds a game. She almost averages a double-double, actually. Savoon's going to pass it to Kempler, who will then make the layup. I like to see the communication, the ball movement. K-Dot with the ball. Double team, and she's going to go up, and that's no good. Rebounded by number 4, Addison Newman. Foster, 2 points.
Nice assist by Emma Camden to set her up for that.
Absolutely. Like I said, just really good communication. You know, that's going to lead to a lot of scoring, a lot of points. We're seeing it happen right now. SVU's really catching fire. NC Wesleyan's starting to take more shots. You know, this quarter's not even half over, and they've already NC Wesleyan's almost tripled their points, and then SVU's more than doubled their points.
It seems like both offenses have found their groove. You know, the Bishops found a little niche shooting that mid-range jumper. SVU's getting a lot of better communication within the paint, scoring off of assists. You know, everyone helping each other, feeding off each other's energy. So, you know, we kind of talked about it. You know, first quarter, both these teams were kind of getting used to the game, feeling it out. But, you know, both offenses have really opened up here in the second quarter.
You know, coaches always talk about momentum. Keep that momentum going, and that's 100% a mental game right there. All these sports, you know, you could be the best physically, but if you can't keep up with that mental momentum and keep going and, you know, stay consistent, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's why we're seeing these teams that score one time, and then it will jump up again, then they'll steal the ball and keep scoring, you know, until eventually they're on like a 10-0 run. You know, it's just a mental game. They just keep up with that momentum. NC Wesleyan's going to take it from about mid-court. And that's going to fall in. Number 10, Dorinda Jordan is going to get her second basket of the night. Savoon taking it up. Kempler's playing in the post, trying to get a good shot. That's going to be no good. Unable to get that offensive rebound. NC Wesleyan's going to drive it in. That's going to be no good. Camden with the rebound, driving it up. There's a fast break going on. Foster with another shot.
There we go. Foster now with 10 points on the day.
And that's going to be a travel. SVU's ball.
You know, like I said, Foster now has 10 points a game. You know, great game for her so far. You know, a little bit, there was a few communication errors, but she's really stepped it up here. You know, didn't let that get to her. She's had a great game so far.
Absolutely, you know, and I think she'll be able to keep it up. Savoon. That shot's going to get blocked. Nadia Simmons driving in, passes it back out to number 23, Corinthian Williams. She's going to drive in and play a good post. And there's going to be a foul on number 10, Emma Camden.
Williams to the line, shooting 2.
And that's going to be good with that shot. NC Wesleyan's going to be 4 for 5 in terms of free throws. That one's going to be good as well. Make it 5 for 6. Savoon taking up the court. Passing it back to Savoon. Some solid defense from NC Wesleyan. Kim's going to drive in. Pass back out to Newman, who will hit the shot. That's a three-point shot as well. That shot's no good. It'll get rebounded by Savoon. Going down on the fast break, passes it to Newman, and that will be a foul.
Number 10, Emma Camden comes out. Number 3, Taylor Miyazaki comes in for the substitution for the SVU Knights.
NC Wesleyan taking up the court. SVU has a 10-point lead, 28 to 18 as of right now. 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter of play, and that'll be a block from number 2, Heggie. Miyazaki with the ball. Savoon drives in, and that layup will be no good. And Simmons is going to get that shot to go in.
Real sense of urgency we can feel here in the final 2 minutes of this quarter.
Absolutely. The intensity is going crazy. It's building up, and it'll only get more intense from here. Newman drives in, passes it up to Miyazaki. Can't find an open shot. Savoon behind the three-point line. She drives back in, up, and that'll be no good. Rebounded by K-Dot. Number 4, Simmons, is taking it up the court. And that's going to be a clean block by Heggie again. That's her second block.
Oh,
Newman.
Great pass and great layup there by Newman.
Is absolutely fantastic right now. You know, both of these teams, like we said just not too long ago, this intensity is really getting to them, I think. And, you know, like you said, there's a sense of urgency. Everybody wants to score as many points as they can right now. And some good defense is going to allow SVU to get the ball out of bounds, and they're going to take it up the court. Foster's going to get subbed out for number 14, Haley Page, a junior out of Stevens City, Virginia. 45 seconds left in the second quarter. Newman with the ball, passes it out to Savoon, who will take the three, and that'll be good. (33-20). Savoon's gonna make the steal, and she's gonna drive it up the court. Take the shot. There will be a foul called. Savoon's really turning it up in this last few minutes of play.
Her first. Savoon to the line, shooting 2.
You got it. This is yours. Let's go. Yeah, stay
first one's going to be no good. But that second one will go down.
Checking in for the Knights.
Savoon's going to come out. They're going to bring in Cassie Okonkwo, number 12. Simmons is going to sit back and take a three. That'll be no good. Rebounded by Haley Page. Passes it up the court. And that will be the end of the second half. The score is 20-34. You know, we're seeing a lot of intensity from both sides, and it could really go either way. I know SVU's got a 14-point lead, but you can never put anything into safety mode. You know, you always have to have those insurance points because it can flip pretty quick.
Yeah, we've seen NC Wesleyan kind of club their way back in, really shorten the lead that SVU has. And, you know, as we were talking about, both of these teams showing a lot more intensity here in the second quarter, you know, as we finish this first half. You know, both these teams kind of finding their groove. And both these teams are doing a lot better, communicating with each other, setting each other up for success. And, you know, as this game continues, we're going to see more of that.
Absolutely. So in the second half of play, we're really excited to see it, and you should be too. So please don't go anywhere as we get back to you for the second half.
Yeah, River Crossing, Straws, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Cornerstone Bank, Papa John's, locally owned and operated, Vinyl Cuts, Katana, Katana. We got the Beeb, and then Grace Automotive.
hello. And welcome back to SVU Knights Women's Basketball as we get ready to play this second half. But before we start, we want to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors: River Crossing Apartments, Straws, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Cornerstone Bank, Papa John's, locally owned and operated, Vinyl Cuts, Katana, Sushi and Hibachi Express, The Beeve, and Grace Automotive. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it very, very much. Now we're starting off with Savoon taking the ball for the SVU Knights. Taylor, what do you think we'll see a lot of in the second half?
You know, we kind of saw these offenses get more in a groove towards the end of that second quarter. You know, I'm expecting, both these teams to kind of settle in offensively, kind of, get on these runs. I'm excited to see, how NC Wesleyan kind of changes up their game plan and kind of get back in this. They're down 14 coming into the second half. And, they've kind of found their groove, shooting those mid-range shots, and they kind of deviated more away from that towards the end, kind of getting desperate. But, I want to see them kind of settle in, get more comfortable.
Absolutely. And Foster's going to get herself another couple points as she leads SVU in scoring right now. She is currently at 12 points starting the second half. And there's a few things statistically that have been a big difference for these teams. We just saw SVU get that steal. That actually makes number 7 for SVU, while NC Wesleyan only has 1 steal. And NC Wesleyan is shooting about 20% less than SVU when it comes to field goal percentage. And I'm going to attribute that to SVU's hardcore defense because they've been up in their faces all day and, just really, NC Wesleyan's just really having a hard time getting off a good shot.
Number 3, Jenny Goddard was able to block Savoon there on the attempted shot.
And they're going to call a foul that time.
We talked about NC Wesleyan's shooting percentage. I know a lot of that's contributed to the very beginning of the game where SVU's defense locked them down. I think they started like 0-10 for field goal attempts. So they're improving.
Absolutely. And that first one's going to be good. Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with the intensity as well, like we were saying before. It's just they're keeping it pretty constant, pretty frequent. And that second one's going to fall as well. Abby Snyder's going to pass the ball up to Savoon, who will take it up the court for SVU. Camden with the ball. And an errant pass is going to allow NC Wesleyan to get a hold of it. And they're going to take a shot. That'll be no good. Rebounded by Abby Snyder. Foster, number 14.
Foster's been a deadly force in the paint so far this game. She's able, also attribute that to the communication to SVU. She's been in the right place at the right time, and her team is able to find her, set her up for that basket.
Speaking of points in the paint, out of the 38 points SVU have, 26 have been from the paint, which is almost all of them.
Yeah.
It's a very high percentage shot.
Jordan checking in for the Bishops.
Number 10, Dorinda Jordan's going to come in for the Bishops.
Maria, just stay with. Stay with. Maria, stay with.
And I believe they're going to call an over-the-back foul. Oh, no, I'm sorry, a push. on number 11, Abigail Snyder. That's going to be her third foul, which is getting kind of dangerous. You want to keep Abby Snyder, if anybody, in the game. You know, she's one of the more versatile players on SVU. She's very dangerous with the ball in her hands. That'll be real. That'll change up the game a lot to have her foul out.
Yeah, she's an integral part of this team. I think she logs more minutes in than anyone else on the SU Knights team. So losing her would be big.
NC Wesleyan pressing pretty hard. Wyland's going to pass it out to Savoon. He's going to take the three. Falls just short. Abby Snyder with the rebound. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. She gives it to Foster. And drive in, pass it out to Savoon, and she's going to take another three. And that's going to bounce out. NC Wesleyan with the ball. Simmons drives in. Some good defense. It's going to keep the shot from going in. Number 10, Camden, passes it to Foster. She goes up. That's going to hit the bottom of the backboard. You know, I think there's a difference between going quick and then rushing. And I think when you rush, you tend to make errant shots, errant passes. That's going to be another block for SVU. That'll make number 3 on the day. 2 points for Wyland. That was a fantastic pass, a good read on the defense, and led to some points.
Fantastic pass there by number 10 in a Camden, the senior. In fact, today was senior day here at the final home game of the season for SVU women's basketball, where they honored Emma. She's the only senior on this team this season.
And that's going to be another foul on Abby Snyder. That'll be her 4th. So they're going to take her out, try to save her for the 4th quarter.
Yeah,
they're going to sub in number 14, Haley Page.
Number 32, Asia Foster, also coming off. Number 4, Addison Newman, also coming in place of Foster.
Haley Page with the ball, drives in, passes it out to Savoon. She's wide open for the 3, and that'll be no good. Newman with the rebound, passes it back to Savoon. She's gonna try to slow it down a little bit, try to get a good idea of what to do on offense. 5 seconds left. Haley Page, that'll be no good, but she's gonna rebound it, take another shot, and that's gonna be just short as well. A lot of offensive aggressiveness from SVU. And they're gonna get another steal, and then they're gonna give it back up. Number 10, Jordan's gonna make that shot. Seeing a lot of back and forth right now. Addie Newman with the ball. Gives it to Camden. She passes it up to Haley Page, who passes it back out to Wyland. Takes the 3, it'll bounce out. Deanna Adams with the ball, driving up. K-Dot's gonna step back, take a 3, and that will fall. I'm sorry, that'll be a 2. SVU trying to get something started on offense. That'll be another steal from NC Wesleyan. And SVU's kind of hitting a cold spell right now, you know, giving up some turnovers and missing a few shots.
SVU was able to rebound it.
Cam's got the ball, and she's going to try to speed up the fast break. Newman's going to take that shot. And I believe they're going to call a foul on number 14, Haley Page.
Looks like NC Wesleyan's also going to be calling a timeout here. Both teams seem to be a little playing a little disorganized there in the last few seconds.
Absolutely. You know, I think both teams are kind of in their head right now. They're trying to get as much done as possible, and it's almost having an adverse effect on the way that they're playing, you know. They're trying to rush everything. It's affecting everything that they're doing. You know, there's being nervous, and that will affect everything you do in terms of sports. You know, I think if I'm SVU, I'm going to stick with, you know, trying to play it in the post, drive in, pass it back out like they've been doing. You know, that's just what's been working for them.
Yeah, you know, SVU, they've always been really good around the perimeter this season, you know, making people open, creating shots. You know, that's kind of been their formula so far today. You know, getting those people around the perimeter, drawing those people kind of on the outside, opening up the paint within. Players like Asia Foster to become open. And it's been working really well here for the Knights as they lead by 14 here in the third quarter. And if you're NC Wesleyan, of course, you know, you don't want to take too many risky shots. Don't go crazy with the threes. Stick to what you've been doing good.
Asia Foster, she's going to go up and get fouled. Opportunity for her to get more points up on the board. That foul's going to get called on number 10, Jordan.
To the line, shooting 2.
Now, first one is going to take an unfortunate bounce, and it's not going to go in. SVU is now 3 for 5 from the free throw line. They get 3 for 6. NC Wesleyan's going to rebound the ball, take it up the court. And that shot is going to go very wide. SVU's got the ball. Savoon's going to give it to Norton. Billy Page is going to drive in. That shot's going to be no good. Rebounded by Simmons. That shot's not going to fall either. Savoon with the rebound. She passes it up to Foster, and that gets tipped. It's going to go out of bounds. NC Wesleyan ball.
As well as Harrison. Peggy checking in for the Knights.
Hey, Asia, you had 25, yep. How do you have 4?
Number 4, Simmons is going to take it up for NC Wesleyan. Number 25, K-Dot's going to take that shot, and it's going to hit the back of the rim, bounce out.
Let's go, grab the ball.
Both teams trying to rebound it. It'll bounce off of number 4, Addie Newman, go out of bounds. Still NC Wesleyan ball. Gonna clean up the court a little bit, make sure no one slips. Pass it in. And ball's gonna get stolen. And they're gonna call a foul on number 3, Janae Goddard.
Foul on Goddard, her first.
Savoon taking it up the court. Newman with the ball. They're going to call a travel on her. Bishops with the ball. Wide open three. It's going to bounce out. That's no good.
Hit the shot clock.
Emma Camden checking in for the Knights.
And I believe they're going to call a push. K-Dot with the three. That's going to bounce out. Rebounded and scored by number 3, Janae Goddard. Passes it to Norton. Takes the three and just long. Going to bounce off the rim. NC Wesleyan's got the ball driving up the court. She's going to get fouled on the way up. That'll be a couple free throws. There's a minute left in this third quarter. And honestly, we have not seen a whole lot of points go up on the board.
Yeah, since the last time out, only 2 points have been scored by the Bishops. Now, both these teams seem a little rushed here, the final minutes of this third quarter.
Absolutely. Both teams are definitely pretty anxious, I think. And that's going to be no good. They're going to slow down the offense a little bit, try to assess the defense, see if they can get something going. She's going to pass it off to Kempler. She's going to drive in, make the reverse. It's going to get rebounded by the Bishops.
Janae Goddard for the Bishops today has had a really good game defensively, has a few steals under her, a lot of rebounds. Shout out to her.
And that's going to be a kick. The Bishops are going to retain possession of the ball.
Now, this is a great opportunity for the Bishops to kind of make something happen. You know, both these teams kind of don't have momentum going in their favor, kind of on a cold spell. This is a great chance for the Bishops to fight their way back into this game, close this lead.
Number 10, Jordan goes up with the layup, just short. 20 seconds left. Kempler's going to set a screen for Savoon, who's going to drive in, take the layup. And that's not going to be. Number 4 shoots half court and just short. And that'll be it for the third quarter. And as we end this third quarter, I want to give another shout out to our sponsors and how grateful we are for their involvement with SVU sports and broadcasting. And those sponsors are River Crossing Apartments, Straws, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Cornerstone Bank, Papa John's, locally owned and operated, Vinyl Cuts, Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express, The Beeve, and Grace Automotive. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it here over at Southern Virginia University.
We kind of talked about, how both these teams are kind of on a cold spell. Not a whole lot of points have been scored the last few minutes. What do you think are kind of some of those reasons why that both these teams are kind of struggling here offensively?
Yeah, I think it's all just a mental thing right now, I think each team recognizes the other's defensive greatness, and they're just trying to force shots off, and that's not going to work very well for an effective offense. So we just haven't seen a whole lot of points starting the second half. I think we saw 8 from NC Wesleyan and 6 from the SVU Knights in that entire third quarter. So hopefully this fourth quarter will be a lot more intense. We saw the same thing in the first half. The first quarter just wasn't great. Then the second quarter, both teams really came out and started scoring a lot more points. The Bishops have the ball. And that shot is going to go out of bounds. It'll be SVU's ball. Number 1, Savoon's going to try to find another person to pass it to, find an open shot. Camden's going to give it back to Savoon. She's going to drive in. The layup's going to be just under. Savoon's going to take another shot. That's going to hit the back of the rim, bounce out. Camden, no good. Rebounded by number 25, K-Dot for the Bishops. Shot from the Bishops are going to be no good as well. Camden's going to get the rebound, start driving up the court. She gives it off to Savoon, who is fouled hard. Good sportsmanship out on the court. Number 21 making sure she's all right.
Savoon from the line, shooting 2.
So far, the SVU Knights are 3 for 6 for free throws tonight. She's going to get robbed on that one. That'll bounce out. That second one will definitely fall, though. Savoon's got 9. A lot of physicality out there on the court. We'd love to see it. We hope everybody ends up being okay at the end of the day.
Adams to the line, shooting 2.
That first shot's going to be no good from number 21, Deanna Adams. Second shot is up, and that's going to fall down. Let's see, Wesleyan starts pressing a little bit. Cam's going to give it to Savoon. Put Snyder back in, despite the amount of fouls that she has.
Timeout, SVU.
SVU is going to call a quick timeout, try to reassess their game plan a little bit, try to get some more points up on the board in this fourth quarter of play.
Both these teams still trying to find their way offensively here in the final minutes of this game.
Absolutely, and this is a uncharacteristically low-scoring game for both sides. You know, NC Wesleyan hasn't reached half of the amount of points that they average per game, and SVU is still about 20 points under what they usually score. You don't usually see stuff like this with SVU.
I'll say, yeah, you know, we kind of saw this defensive game in the first and third quarters. A lot of the points came from that second quarter, really explosive offensively. In fact, probably maybe about half the points from both these teams came from the second half or second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, both these teams need to find kind of that rhythm they found in that quarter and bring it out here in the final minutes here.
I have to agree with you there, Tyler. You are absolutely right. SVU's got a 12-point lead, 41 to 29. And they're going to have the ball, try to give it off to Camden. That's going to slip through her fingers. It's going to get picked up. Foster with the rebound, gives it back to Savoon. Five seconds left on the shot clock. Abby Snyder drives in. That's going to fall just short. Rebounded by NC Wesleyan. And that's going to be a travel. SVU ball. You know, it's just the same thing we've been talking about. They're just trying to rush in and score the points as fast as they can. You know, it's not a bad thing, but it is a mental mindset. Abby Snyder's going to drive in. And she's going to get fouled. But I believe they're going to say it's before she went up for the shot, and they're going to keep it on the ground. Pass to Kempler. 2 seconds left. That's going to go up. No good. Tipped around a little bit. Rebound by NC Wesleyan, who then drives up the court. Passes it into the paint, and they're going to score a couple points. Savoon with the ball. Foster's going to take a shot from the free throw line. That's going to bounce around, but ultimately no good. And see Wesleyan with another couple points, and they're going to get fouled as well.
Bishops close this lead to, or close the deficit to only 8 points.
And a chance to make it 7 as well. You know, the Bishops changed something that they were doing, and it's ultimately making a difference. And this might, you know, it'll definitely pay off.
Yeah. SU trying to change up their game plan a little bit. They substitute 3 players. Now we see number 25, Alyssa Weiland, and number 4, Addison Newman also in for the Knights.
NC Wesleyan will, in fact, get that 3-point play. SVU's lead is now down to 7. Weiland with the ball. She's going to give it back to Savoon. She drives in, and that's going to get blocked by number 2, Harmony Martin. The Knights are going to retain possession with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. You know, almost every shot they've taken has been run down to every single second on the shot clock. And that's going to be a steal from Martin. Martin with the shot. And that's going to bounce out. Rebounded by number 4, Addie Newman. Savoon passes to Weiland, who then passes to Foster. She's up, and it's good. Foster with 16. She is putting on a performance out there on the court. She's really getting stuff done.
Yeah, hopefully that'll start a little spark ignition for the SVU offense here in the 4th quarter.
Martin's going to drive in, and that will be good. SVU trying to get a play down. And that's going to get stolen from number 4, Simmons, but they're going to steal it back by Heggie. Savoon's going to drive in, take the shot, and that's going to be just short. The Bishops with the ball. This could be a real opportunity for the Bishops to come back and win this game. Number 2, Martin's going to take the shot. That's going to be no good. Rebounded by Heggie. SVU's going to call another timeout. And I think this is going to, you know, they're going to try to reassess their offensive approach to be able to get more points, because NC Wesleyan is starting to kind of get it together, you know, find some open spots in their defense, find some weak points, and kind of break them loose.
Yeah, definitely the Bishops got on a little run so far here in the final minutes. SU's trying to change stuff up to keep it from getting too out of hand. Lead now only 7 points for the Knights.
So far in this quarter, NC Wesleyan has 8 points and SVU only has 3 points. With 4.5 minutes left in this game.
You know, we kind of talked about when the game first began, you know, both these teams more defensive-minded. Opponent only average, as you said, like 60 points, 52 points for the Knights. I wasn't expecting it to be this defensive, to say the least.
Yeah, no, neither was I. That is for sure. So far, SVU shooting 31.6% from the field, and the Bishops are shooting 24.1% from the field. So both teams are shooting way under what they're averaging. Yeah, but their defensive statistics are way above the normal.
Yeah, both these defenses are doing a great job suffocating the other team's shot attempts.
Number 25, Wyland is going to pass it to Savoon. Wyland's going to give it to Foster. She's going to go up and get fouled. An opportunity to score more points for Foster.
Foul called on Martin, the third. Foster to the line, shooting 2.
SVU 4 for 8 for free throws thus far. And that's going to be good. And that second shot is going to go up. And it's going to bounce out. Simmons with the ball.
Foul call on Allie Wyland, her second.
And that's going to be a defensive foul on number 25, Wyland. NC Wesleyan's going to retain possession. And another foul.
Foul call on Wyland.
On Wyland again. That'll be her third, and they're going to sub her out for number 3, Miyazaki.
Williams to the line, shooting 2.
And that first one's going to be good for number 23, Corinthian Williams. The second shot will be good as well. Bishop's going to sub out number 2, Martin, for number 14, Arena Harris. Foster with the ball, gives it to Miyazaki behind the three-point line. Foster's going to drive in once again. And Savoon's going to hit that three.
He gives Savoon 13 points on the day.
Some good defense from Savoon. She's going to get that ball back, forcing NC Wesleyan to push it out of bounds. They're going to try to waste some time on the clock. Miyazaki with the ball, gives it back to Savoon. Ten seconds left on the shot clock. Savoon's going to drive in. That'll be no good. Rebounded by Foster, gives it to Miyazaki. That's going to be no good. The Bishops with the ball. Still down by 9 with about 3 minutes left in the final quarter of this game. That three-point shot's going to be a little short. And they're going to say they didn't get the ball past half court in time. Some subs are going to come in.
Ruth Kempler checking in for the Knights.
Number 38, Kempler, is going to come in for number 3, Miyazaki. Here's the three-point shot. It'll bounce off the back. Rebounded by Foster. She's going to give it to Savoon. SVU again, trying to waste a little bit of time. I think it's going to be a quick timeout, just get some subs in. Savoon with the ball. Heggie takes the shot just to get it off in time, and they're going to get it rebounded. And then they're going to get fouled.
Foul called on Simmons.
Number 4, Addie Newman's going to get the ball in for SVU. Savoon with the ball. Drives in, passes it back to Foster, takes a jumper. And that's going to bounce out. Bishops are going to watch it go out of bounds, and it'll be their ball.
A little over a minute 30 left on the clock. Down by 9. Bishops trying to get something happening on offense.
Some good defense is going to prevent them from getting a good shot off. Savoon's going to get that rebound, take it up herself. She gives it to Newman.
Knights still trying to drain the clock.
She's going to fake a pass and give it to Heggie. Newman's going to drive in, take a little floater shot. It's going to dance around the rim. Foster's going to get the rebound. There's going to be a foul called, but I think they're going to try to keep it on the ground. I don't know, Taylor. I thought she went up for the shot.
Ball was flying in the air, so I don't know. Some confusion. Refs discussing out in the court.
Going to change the shot clock from 19 to 9 seconds.
The Bishops are just going to call a timeout, kind of revene and discuss.
In the fourth.
We can't.
In this final quarter of play, the Bishops have 10 points and the Knights have 7 points. So it's picked up a little bit, but not really. It's still really low scoring for these points, or these teams' average.
Yeah, well below.
Especially their three-point shot percentage. The Bishops are shooting 7% from behind the three-point line, and the SVU Knights are shooting 28%.
Yeah, you know, a lot of good defense and a lot of nerves, it seems to be, in this game. Lots on the line for both teams.
Absolutely, I have to agree with you right there, Tyler.
Now, as we mentioned before, SVU currently seated number 1 in the conference right now, but their one loss is to Methodist, who also only has one loss. So they need this win desperately to keep their first seed for the upcoming tournament.
Absolutely. Savoon's going to pass the ball into Heggie. And see Wesleyan pressing kind of hard. That's going to be a foul on number 21, Deanna Adams.
Emma Camden checking in for the Knights.
Lieutenant Camden's going to pass it in. That's going to get knocked out of bounds almost immediately. Some hardcore defense going on right now, and understandably so.
Bishop's doing everything they can to get the ball back.
Savoon with the ball.
Bishop's just trying to foul those free throw attempts.
We've gone into the bonus.
Savin to the line, shooting 2.
Now first one's gonna bounce right out. Second shot for Savoon. And that's gonna go in. The Knights with the 10-point lead, 40 seconds left.
Bishop playing with some urgency, trying to get points fast.
That three-pointer's gonna be no good, but it's gonna get rebounded by the Bishops. Another three-point attempt. That's gonna fall short, rebounded by Foster. That's gonna be a foul called, SVU ball. .23 seconds left, 10-point lead by the Knights. You can never feel too safe though, no matter how big your lead is with, you know, a certain amount of time.
23 and a half seconds left on the clock.
All right, Tyler, if you are the Bishops right now, what would be the best game plan to go about?
So you're down by 10, you know, only 23 seconds left. You know, of course, in a perfect scenario, you could make a whole bunch of threes, you know, foul out the Knights, make them miss their free throws, and hopefully just get lucky with some 3 points.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to go about it as well.
So it's all come down to luck here in the last 10 or a few seconds of the game for the Bishops to come back.
And Heggie's gonna get fouled.
The Knights win here today. That'll put them 16-1 in the conference.
And that's gonna fall. So far, 1 for 1. 2 for 2. The Knights are now up by 12 points with 20 seconds left in the game. Now, these last 20 seconds seem to last about an hour and a half, don't they?
For sure. So the Knights currently, if they do win, as we said, they'll be 16-1 in the conference, and the Bishops will fall to 12-4 in the conference.
Bishop's going to start with possession of the ball. You're going to give it to Simmons. He's going to pass it out. Some good defense. SVU's going to get the rebound, and Hegge's going to get fouled once again.
So yeah, but Bishop tried to get the shot off, but there were just too many defenders around her.
Absolutely, just some good defense from SVU.
Knights were able to drain 10 seconds off the clock, though, even with 9.7 seconds remaining in the game.
You know, at this point, if I'm the Bishops, if I have possession of the ball, I'm probably just going to shoot it where I am.
Yeah.
You know, to get 12 points off in 10 seconds isn't impossible, but it's definitely a very difficult thing to do, as you can imagine.
Yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot of many more opportunities to shoot the ball, so as soon as you get it, just launch it and pray that it gets in.
Absolutely. To Hegge with the ball. That ball's going to go out of bounds. Knights are going to retain possession. 3 seconds left. And that's going to do it. SVU Knights take the win in this game, 50-38 over the NC Wesleyan Bishops. You know, and as we were saying before, there's a lot of implications in this game. It meant a lot to both teams to retain, you know, the spot that they have in the division. How do you think this is going to play out in the future, Tyler?
You know, SVU here, great win, locking up. Now 16-1 in the conference. As we said, the team they're kind of competing against right now for that #1 spot is Methodist University, who they lost to last week. So if Methodist loses another game this season, SVU is virtually now locked in for that #1 seed for the conference tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah, going forward, you know, they both played really good defensively. 50-38, that's a pretty low scoring game here. So
I have to agree with you there. This was definitely a good game, good defensive game, and I think it's not going to be the only tough game that SVU has. Like you said, Methodist is trying hard to retain that #2 spot. Probably tried to make it a #1, I can imagine. So that's going to be another rival, you know, in the future.
SVU, you know, they played really well. They kind of took the lead. They had the lead the entire game once they took it.
Absolutely,
And,
yeah, they kept it.
SVU they were winning the whole game, and they had like a 12-point margin of victory, but it felt a lot closer than that throughout the game. You know, there were times where, you know, SVU was kind of stagnant and the Bishops were able to claw their way back in. It felt a lot closer, a lot more urgent. So, you know, if you're the Bishops, you know, a lot of good things to look at. You know, there's definitely things for both teams to clean up. But, you know, the Bishops, they had some great moments in this game where they really looked like they were about to close the gap. So, great work by both teams.
Absolutely. But anyway, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for tuning in to SVU Broadcasting for women's basketball. I am Rock Giles here with Tyler Wright. Please watch in the future as well. And have a good night.
Go Knights.